right, so this is our call to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Easthampton Telecom Advisory Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may do so by accessing the Zoom link in the agenda. We will post a record of this meeting on the Easthampton Media website as soon as we are able. City of Easthampton would like to remind everyone to wear your masks and practice safe social distancing wherever possible. Okay. So let us move on. We have no one here for public speak. And let me pull up that agenda again. I think that's pretty much the story. Okay. Oh, did you guys check out the minutes? Did everybody have a chance to review them from last meeting?
Yep.
Okay, great. I did too. I didn't see any edits. Is there a motion to approve?
A move to approve.
I think Stan beat you to it.
I'll second it.
All right. So we're going to do a roll call vote. Motion to approve the minutes. Tom Malsbury.
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Kevin Mulligan?
Yep.
Tom Peak?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
And Harry, I know you weren't there at the last meeting, so you have to abstain from this one. Anyways, we are, minutes are approved. So did you guys have a chance to review the report over the weekend? Awesome. Yep. I figure we'll go through one section at a time and see if there's any other feedback or changes to be made. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. Yep. So, I'm going to share the screen here. This is section 1. You give some. Were there any edits you folks saw to be made to this section? All right, well, silence is golden. So section 1's pretty good. Let's go on to section 2. Is there any feedback for section 2 or anything anybody noticed?
Yeah, can you scroll down? Yeah, I didn't think I sent you one correction that I had, and it was later on. So,
oh yeah, there was a typo there.
Right, that was a minor thing.
But I fixed that on this draft. I think that might have been the next section.
Yeah, I think I only had one grammatical error in section 2.3. The sentence that starts, the proposal was approved by the ordinance committee of the city council, should be followed by the full city council.
Yep.
Just missing a word.
Good catch. All right. I feel pretty good about that. All right, let's go on to section 3. I think this is where that typo you found, Kevin, was. So up here.
Yeah, it was a misspelling. It was like a spell checker thing. If not, I can look in my email to you. Okay. Was it in this fiber optic section? It had something to do with I thought it was.
It might actually be the next section. I think it was with charter. We were talking about.
Right. Somehow charter rang a bell as soon as I thought about it. So.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll hit it there.
The rest of this look pretty good.
Yeah.
So, Tom, did you actually work on this section and move some of it into chapter 4? Because it looked like it had been reformatted.
Yeah, I moved some stuff out.
Cool. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Okay. Yep.
It made so much sense, honestly, reading through that I had to go back and check the old drafts to make sure that the old drafts didn't make sense. This is just so obvious.
So we're going to leave that comment in that section about the poll survey to volunteer. We had some discussion on that last month. It was in the minutes.
I think that we decided that it was fine to leave it in.
Right. Yeah, I think the comment was basically that they're going to have to hire, a private contractor, even if we did a volunteer-led one. But that's fine. Yeah, let's leave it in there. Okay.
Should we hyphenate third party like Microsoft thinks we should?
Usually is.
Word's gotten pretty good with syntax.
Okay. This looks all pretty good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, the section with charter is great. Dan did a good job with that.
Yeah. Okay. MLP. Great. Okay, so that looks like it for section 3.
I had some edits in section 315.
Okay.
Last paragraph, first sentence, unlike residential cable internet, cellular data is often metered, which means that it is billed. It's missing it. It just says that is billed.
Which means that it is billed. Great.
Yep. Good catch.
And then the last sentence, we say data service are, so it should either be data services are or data service is, whichever way you guys want to go.
All righty.
All right. I made it data services. So I suppose there are a variety of them.
And 322, first sentence, before moving forward on the installation of fiber optic cable, the condition of each utility pole, just as condition each.
Good catch.
Then next paragraph, the last sentence in it, a pole survey may also be helpful for identifying. I think it should just be, may also be helpful.
How did we miss all these?
Because you've read it 1,000 times and I have.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, this is great, Tom. Thank you for doing it.
Outside.
Yeah.
Let me keep scrolling. I think that was all I had in that section.
Oh, jeez. Windows is like, do you want to update right now?
Not now.
Another time. Okay. So that's it you've got for section 3. Great.
Yep, that looks like all my notes for myself.
Okay. All right, section 4.
I have one thing in section 4. It's pretty small, but in the third paragraph of, one thing I'm noticing, like Dan's going to have to change, like the numbering scheme changes from chapter to chapter. So where it was like 3.1, now it's just 4 and then 1. But that's fine. Like we don't need to do that today. Like Dan can take care of that. But in part 1 of this, in the third paragraph, there's a couple points where it says like in Easthampton, Charter offers standalone broadband service with a free internet modem for $49.99 a month asterisk. And I couldn't find what that asterisk ties to.
I noticed this as well when I was reviewing it, and what it tied to before is we had a line in a previous draft lower down that had said that this pricing advertised as of like July 1st, 2020 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's what it used to refer to, and I didn't catch that wasn't there. So that's a good catch, Tom.
Yeah,
It was like a dated caveat for the price.
Right. Well, if we put that back in, I think that probably the best way to do that would be as a footnote. So my inclination would be to put that back in as a footnote.
Yeah.
I mean, or could we just do a parenthetical statement in line?
That would be fine.
Yeah, because we don't really have a lot of footnotes in the document, if any of them, so.
Right, that's why I was saying if it would
Could
just be
we
somewhere-
just remove the asterisk because it's just tying it into the interval when it's available? I mean, that would be floating as far as documents concerned. Yeah, just leave it without anything.
Well, I think we're saying that the $49.99, if somebody reads this in a year, it could be $59.99. So we could just say parenthetical
Right.
as of
Yeah.
issue of a report.
Okay.
or something.
I agree with that.
It's just an intro price, not a long-term contract.
Right, which is just said in the next thing that it increases. I mean, I still don't know why I seem to be the only guy in town who's paying $74.99 a month because that's all I have is internet. I don't have TV or any bundles.
Yeah,
No, I
mine,
think I've got the same deal.
mine went up
We should
$5.
make that $74.95. I've asked to do this a few times then. Well, we should go with the ceiling. Yeah.
Well, we should check it because mine went up $5 this month.
Yeah, it's usually tied into when you got in because, I had it for a year and then it went up to, I think, 64 and then 69. And then last year they raised it to 74. So,
Well, how about this then? When we have Dan do the formatting, let's ask him, or one of us can do this, to do one more sweep so that the dates that we have are current, so that if they
Right.
change the last 6 months, we're talking about the current dates,
yep,
and to just,
right.
we don't need to do that here as
Yeah,
long as we
thanks, Paul.
put a placeholder that's what we're doing.
Right.
Will be edited to reflect current pricing as of issue of this report. I think the board could all agree to that.
Yep.
Committee.
Okay.
All right. That works
And
great.
I did check, my bill also went up to $74.99 a month, so. 'Cause before
Okay.
mine was still at $69.99, even a couple months ago, but.
Mine went to 99 even.
Power user.
Okay. So you want me to write that in here, or is that, we're just going to make a note of this to Dan?
I think make a note that as part of the formatting to verify current offer rates as of issue, as
Okay.
of January 1st or whatever,
Yeah.
Okay, great.
just as a formatting issue.
Okay. Okay, I'll make that note to Dan. Okay. Any other feedback for section 4?
Nope, none from me.
No? Okay.
Full screen. Video options.
All right, let's go on to 5.
Oops.
Okay. Again, here we've got, I believe these prices are current as of now. Should we put a note in here that these are, I guess we'll do a similar thing.
I think, didn't Kevin just do that?
Yeah, I actually went through and checked all the websites. So those prices that I put in that table that I think was going in the appendix, but you seem to lose it. You actually moved the other table into the document.
Yeah.
But yeah, those prices are good. Those tables should probably stay together. I don't really care if they're in the chapter or if they're an appendix at the end, but I'm trying to
I
find
thought it worked in the placement of the document, like in the middle, personally. If you guys want to put an appendix, that's fine too.
we should make a decision. And if we put that table there, then we should probably go ahead and put the current rates table in there too. That's all I'm saying. So, where is?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we have all the current rates in each individual one. We just put it right, embed it right into the bottom of this.
Yep.
So to move the rates table to 5, to make that like table 5.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul moves the
The
other
current-
part of that appendix already in there. So
The current-
rather than have one table in one place and the other in the other, let's keep them together. That's all I'm saying. I don't care where it is.
It's fine with me.
All right.
Okay.
Still trying to find that other typo that I sent you the message and I can't.
Okay. Mm. Oh, here's the table here, 5.1. This doesn't show the pricing of their plans. This is just, yeah.
Chapter, okay, Paul, that thing I was talking about is in chapter 4, and it was in the charter section. Its last sentence reads, "Charter does not cap data usage. However, this may chance," and it should have been, "This may change."
Yeah, I corrected that.
Oh, you got that already. Sorry, I wasn't watching, so I'm over in my email right now. Let me come back. All right, great.
Yeah. Yeah, so below here we have the statistics on PRMLPs. You're saying we want to make another one or expand this? Is that what you're saying, Kevin, to keep it all in one kind of?
Yeah, just keep it in one area. So.
Okay.
I don't recommend iconifying the Zoom program because then it won't let you re-expand it again. That's weird. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. All right.
Okay.
Video. I got it. Bingo. I'm back. All right.
Okay. So any other feedback for section 5?
Otherwise, that looked great.
5.3, second paragraph. First sentence, something doesn't read right to me. HG&E has been expanding their network backbone slowly and expressed great interest in partnering with Easthampton to help with and future broadband venture. Should it be help with something and future broadband venture?
Should we
With any, to help with any future broadband venture?
Yes, to help with
any.
Any, okay.
Yeah.
One letter difference makes a big difference.
Yeah, I wrote that a long time ago, and it actually came back to me.
Yeah, any future broadband venture.
Yeah. That was a good catch, though. Thanks.
Yeah, I only caught it because it rang weird when I read it, but now I see the point of it.
Yeah.
All right.
You do get numb after reading this document 25 times.
Yeah, your brain fills in what you meant.
Exactly. Yep. Automatic reading.
Yeah. 5.4, last paragraph, last sentence. Matrix is also be willing to offer a la carte. I think it should just say Matrix is also willing to offer a la carte. Yeah. Take out B.
Yeah. Yep. Great. You got any other ones for section 5?
Let's see, where was I? Yes, next page, 5.5, second paragraph, about halfway down. HG&E and Shield advocate a ring network architecture to provide robust redundancy, which says to providing.
Where are we?
Oh, I see. HG&E to providing. Advocate to provide. Okay.
To provide for robust redundancy or redundancy. To provide robust. Yeah, that's fine the way it is. Okay. Good.
Okay. Great.
All right, that's all I had for 5, I think.
All right.
Easthampton.
Cool. Big blank page.
I don't know if it's just what I've opened it within, but in 6.2, I'm still showing some strike through text.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
That's all I had for 6.
Yeah. Yep. 6 look good.
All right. One thing I noticed here, we have some language, Matrix Design Group. And it is a redundancy, although it's not the worst sin, I suppose, to keep it in. What we talk about here, under their business proposal, the entity would provide upfront investment to build, would give the city the option to buy and such. But we also have all that information in the immediately preceding section in 5.4, Matrix Design Group, under the proposal, and it's more detailed here, with some of the estimated costs and how the cost will be reduced, until year 20, or until 20 years have passed and all that. So it's a bit more detailed here. And then we kind of, again, down here, talk about, we kind of have it here. So I'm not sure what you guys think about this.
We're looking at, I was just recounting the visits and the proposals made to us, and this you're kind of framing the idea of a public-private partnership with what I referred to in the previous chapter. I don't find it redundant per se. I think it's probably okay.
Yeah, one's a specific example, one's a...
Yeah, it actually refers back to the previous chapter, so I think it's all right, Paul.
Matrix is an example of that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
That's going to appeal to some people in town who aren't going to want to spend money on this thing, although it's obviously not the best choice. I think most of us agree. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that it for 6?
I'm good.
All right. Section 7. Oh, do I have a double space? Yeah.
I have one thing in 7, but it's kind of small. So if anyone else has anything first.
7, I just have one grammatical. 7.3, last paragraph, last sentence, neighborhoods with particularly high take rates. It says takes rates.
Oh, I mentioned that earlier. It didn't get taken out, or I think it got lost in versionitis.
Or it was a different place.
I actually told Dan about it. So I think he changed the PDF. So, all right. Good catch.
Okay. There's something else I saw about this section.
One thing I've noticed is I think there was one place where we had fiber hoods with a capital H in the middle, and then some places we capitalize it and other places we don't. We could probably be consistent about that term.
Yeah.
Maybe make a note to Dan, look for that as he's going through on the final format.
You can just do a find and replace.
I think we're also not consistent with city being capital or not capital when referring to the city of Easthampton.
Yeah,
Yep.
You're right. We are.
So that should be a search and find. Just pick a format and.
Yeah, I think city should be capital and fiberhood shouldn't.
I'm all right with that, except in, the case right there, 7.3, where it's a title, then, capitalizing that's okay. But yeah, otherwise, in the text of the document, it doesn't need it.
So I do know that with city, it can be tricky because technically, I believe the rule is if you are saying the city of Easthampton, you capitalize city. But if you say the city is located or whatever, but you're not specifying the name, then you do
It's
not
right.
capitalize.
The references to city on this page are basically speaking of it in the general sense, fiber hoods in any city. But what you were just saying, we refer to the city of Easthampton, and then in a few chapters, we shorten it to the city, and I think in those cases, maybe you do leave it capitalized. I don't know if there's a one rule fits all here.
Like I'm looking at this paragraph right before 7.4.
Yep.
And it says, one advantage of rolling out a fiber network gradually is that it limits the amount that the city must borrow. That city should be capitalized because it's referring to the entity, which is the city of Easthampton.
I think it's referring to cities in general because we're talking about business models here, aren't we?
It would apply to any city.
Any city, if we were talking.
Well, yeah, okay. I guess I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think we should just be careful about that. And I think what Paul said about the city of Easthampton, and then further in the paragraph calling it the city, which I think I do in a few places, I left it capitalized. So we just need to be consistent.
Yeah.
So for instance, I mean, if we're saying in Greenfield, the MLP prioritized building to the more densely populated center of the city.
Then that's fine lowercase, because you're not
Yeah.
an entity, you're talking about
Yeah.
the space.
But if we were to say in the city of Greenfield, the MLP prioritized building to the more densely populated center, period, we would capitalize city.
Yes.
And I think we have another rule that only the city of Easthampton gets capitalized. We don't care about these other towns.
Okay, I have one thing. It's small. I just in 7.4, there's a sentence that starts in the first paragraph, because some damage will inevitably happen. And I just thought it might it's fourth line of the first paragraph of 7.
There it is. Okay.
I thought that it would be good to replace that to say, because repairs to the system will be necessary from time to time.
Repairs and maintenance or something
Yeah,
along that line.
maintenance. Yeah.
Yeah, you're making it sound inherently
Right.
fragile.
And that's all it is maintenance. That's just the cost of doing business. Yeah.
And it's not all damage. Some of it's just, like some of it's trees will fall on the system, but also some of it's that just stuff will have to get swapped out from time to time.
Will be required. Should we say overtime? Maintenance required overtime, some of the revenues.
And what I had written was, because repairs to the system will be necessary from time to time.
Be necessary from time to time.
Then some of the fiber networks revenues must be devoted to retaining the ability to quickly respond to these. That seems kind of a lot of words to trip over there. I would say some must be devoted to. What's what I'm trying to say? I think retaining the ability, kind of, Anybody here? Just seems awful wordy.
We could say some of the revenues must be retained.
Held in reserve to quickly. Maybe held in reserve to quickly respond to these incidents when they occur.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So instead of devoted to retaining the ability, just say must be held in reserve.
Must be held in reserve.
Period.
Must be held in reserve to quickly.
Yeah, that's going in the right direction for sure. All right, I'm all right with that. I was thinking maybe we didn't need quickly, but that's, we want to be responsive, so let's leave it that way.
Okay. I don't love it, but I'm fine with it.
All right.
Big picture. The only other thought I had, I see here including all of the Western Massachusetts MLPs we spoke to. I suppose that is true, but is it better to say each of?
That would work too. Yeah, I actually like each of, I think, too, because that all of kind of things we talk to every Western, which maybe we did, but each of, speaks specifically to the ones we spoke to.
Yeah.
Jason, you're muted.
Thank you. You don't need an apostrophe in Western Massachusetts MLPs. There you go.
Okay. Good catch. Okay. So anything else for section 7?
Back up to, Word is catching some stuff here. Request a fiber hookup and prioritized building the network. That residents to express interest and request a fiber hookup and prioritize building of the network in those fiber hoods where yeah, I would definitely, and prioritize building of the network. Yeah, right there. Prioritize building of the network in those neighborhoods.
Are you sure? I think that actually, if you read it, it makes sense to me.
Yeah,
And
I don't know.
And prioritizing building the network. Yeah, because prioritize, you're switching tenses in the middle of the sentence.
I mean, hold on. When I'm reading this, it says,
Yeah.
Westfield, the
Westfield.
MVP created a website for residents to express
Okay, yep.
request a fiber hookup and prioritized building the network in those fiber hoods where
Right.
interest had been the most interest had been expressed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I started at the beginning of the sentence, which I should have done. So it's still kind of a mouthful, but you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah,
took
I
it out
think
of
getting rid of the
context.
comma made sense.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's in there.
You could
right.
simplify is able to can.
Yeah. I mean, some in city, stable realize.
Yeah, good catch, Jason. I like that.
That was words.
All right.
Too.
Okay. Were there any other ones? That's it.
All right.
Okay. Moving on to section 8, sources of funding.
All right, for 8.1, first sentence, there are several methods our municipality could use to obtain funding for the purpose of establishing of a broadband, public broadband utility. Should just be establishing a remove of.
Okay.
I also think we should switch out our municipality to just the city.
Yeah, that's more consistent with our language.
Indeed.
8.2, first sentence, I'm seeing is as a strike through, and it should say network would be expected, not is would.
Yep. First sentence in 8.2. Yep.
Me too. I'm wondering here, so in this use, will we capitalize city?
All right, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we do in the next sentence,
We do.
Right, we have it right below that we have so.
because we're referring to our
I
city.
think in this case, we're talking about Easthampton. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Now, in that same paragraph where we talk about various ways of getting revenue, this was written before we got that really nice message from Edic about community development funds. Should we include that in here as a way of getting revenue?
I'm sorry. Say again, Stan?
Well, I would assume this paragraph was written before we got that really nice letter from the community development group.
Oh, EDIC?
Yeah. And should we include that as another possibility for getting revenue?
But EDIC letter, wasn't that just supporting the idea of bringing this to Easthampton? That
Yeah.
letter's been around for a while.
But if they support the idea, they may also help us get community development funds to support the construction.
I mean, in the conclusions, we state that we should pursue all funding.
Right.
True, but we have a nice letter there from them that we could also put in as an addend, as a, at the end.
That may
Yeah.
help us fund a build to get like grants and funds, but what this paragraph is about is how the network itself will draw revenue from, from ratepayers essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. So Word thinks we should trade out in excess of for more than revenue, more than these operational costs.
I don't like that.
I don't like what Word thinks.
No,
No, it's not.
I like, how about revenue that exceeds these?
I don't know. I think in excess of is fine.
I think it's,
Either
yeah,
way is
I
fine.
think that's more a fiscal way of describing it.
yeah. I suppose we could change it to exceeding, but doesn't really matter. I think we can leave it as it is.
It's almost like some really long-winded economist wrote this paragraph.
Yeah. I think he was just trying to give a subtle tip to that great 80s band. Yeah.
I don't think an economist wrote this paragraph.
Oh, that's a terrible pun.
I know. I was waiting for somebody. Jeez, am I the only person who liked them? That's so old.
Oh, wait, no, you're right, Paul. This is your paragraph.
Yes, it is.
It just looks like something I would write.
I dabble, though. I dabble.
Ah,
You know.
cross-pollination here.
Like somebody who has ambitions wrote that paragraph.
Word also thinks we've changed. We've seen cities similar to Easthampton too. We've seen cities like Easthampton, which have used revenue bonds.
I don't approve.
Yeah, I think similar. I
That's
think
fine.
we mean by similar, I think we mean demographically, geographically. It's like Easthampton, sort of it erases that.
Yeah. No, I agree. Here we had a comma here also. Word didn't like that. I think it makes sense to get rid of it. Where you? Right here. They had a comma. So, to build a bridge, they want to say, and repay the bond. Okay. That's where I think here. Seems fine to me. So that's section 8. I don't have anything else for this section. Tom, do you have any hammers to drop on us?
Nope, I'm good. If I was the Tom in reference
Yeah.
there.
In the first paragraph under 8.5? No.
Okay. A5.
Okay. Did we agree that we should make fiberhood small?
Yeah, we're gonna go through and do
Okay.
that on a global
Okay.
exchange, yeah. And we might want to watch where we're using not parentheses, but quotes, and where we aren't. So that might just be a general note for Dan or somebody to go through one time and correct fiberhoods. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
In general, what people do is they would quote it the first time, and then after that, you know what they're talking about. So.
Well, it's true, though. When we wrote, I think, Paul, when you wrote this, there were still sections before that hadn't been written.
That's true. Yeah.
I think we can drop the quotes here because the concept of fiberhoods has actually been established by this point.
Right. I would think, yeah, it's been beaten into our head. We use that word a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So we don't need the quotes either. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Any other ones, Stan? No? All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on to section 9.
I was good with 9 as it was.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good explanation. Yep.
Okay.
Now our problem chapter. Yeah. This is
Section 10.
looking a lot better.
I did have one here. I was like, should we put overwhelming at 72%, or can we just say the majority of respondents?
I think that
I think
to the extent that we can, we should avoid those sort of like superlatives in front. Like if we just say the majority or
this was because originally we weren't saying overwhelming, we were saying significant, and I said let's use overwhelming, but if we have the number in there, which we didn't before, you know, that says it all. So that's what your point was, Tom. We don't need to use those if we have a hard number.
yeah.
The other thought with the 72% is can we just put that in parentheses and get rid of the commas and the at? So instead of having comma at 72, you just have,
Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
While we're at it, in my experience,
Yeah.
and this might just be my shop, so Tom, I'm interested because you write engineering reports, whether this is your experience. Like our writing style is to use the word % rather than the percentage sign. Like when we're like not, except for if you're in a graph or table, you use you're the body of the text, you use the word %. So that might just be a place for like a find and replace.
Yeah, I don't know if I've come across that as much. Maybe that's more just your statistics kind of
Right.
side of it.
I tend to go for brevity, and I would use the symbol and not use a 7-letter word, but I don't care.
Yeah, like lower down at where we have figure 10.3, I don't know if I'd want 91% followed by 4%.
Right.
yeah.
This is a good example of it, Tom, right there. Yep. I'd say we stay with the percentage sign. It's
Okay.
common. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the audience that's going to be reading it, that's going to.
And we live in an age of people using, abbreviations for everything. So.
For the URL, has anybody heard anything about Ashley?
Ashley is no longer with.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. Okay.
Yeah, they're.
I need to talk to the mayor on Thursday about some other stuff. So, and one of those things is I'm hoping to get a contact because something we're working on in rules. We need like whoever the person who's in charge, like whoever the acting head is. So I can have a contact by Friday morning, which I guess at that point that goes to Dan Gilbert. But I'll CC you when I get that.
Yeah, if Dan needs some help, I can work on that while he's doing the report.
Great.
Yeah, cool. Good catch. Yeah.
I have a little nitpicky thing in 10.4.
Yep. You just went past. Oh, wait a minute.
You mean figure 10.4?
10.4? Yeah, go back. Yep. Figure.
Yeah,
10.4.
there we go.
There we
Yep.
go.
Yeah, it says the comments provided to the committee reveal very strong or very polarized feelings. I feel like we can just get rid of the very and just say polarized feelings.
Yeah.
Can you be very polarized?
Well,
Could be.
Polarized or not polarized? You're right. Yeah.
We could have somewhat polarized. Slightly
That is not the
polarized.
case.
Politely
Yeah, like
polarized.
if you're at the North Pole, you're very polarized. If you're in Greenland, you're.
Yeah.
If we can go back up to figure 10.2, sort of towards the last sentence, between commas, it says making bandwidth to all home, should be all homes.
I'm not crazy about that. The end of that's more in demand. I'm gonna have to think about it. Sorry, that was my construction.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not saying anything.
Yeah, I figured it had been vetted. I was just going for the grammar.
The
No.
dash, yeah, and the dashes, we're using commas to delineate, and then all of a sudden we go to dashes in the middle of the sentence.
I'm a dash man. You can't take
Uh-huh.
M dashes, Kevin.
Yeah, door dash.
All right, I'll have to think about that. We can move ahead, but
Yep.
I'll have to, because it's not, unless the number of devices accessing that connection simultaneously growing as more, making bandwidth to all homes more,
As the numbers of devices grows.
making bandwidth. What I'm trying to say is making bandwidth, like bandwidth becomes there's a scarcity of bandwidth. You have more demand, but the same supply. without a fiber network, with our current setup, unless Charter
Right.
unveils some amazing upgrade to our network. The more devices
Growing
we
as,
have
yeah,
access
making
to.
bandwidth, I mean, it's going to affect performance is what you're saying, correct?
Yeah. Not only that, but you have more devices that you don't even know are really hit. So you have this device right now, right, that is hitting.
We're getting a little technical there, we're kind of geeking out. What we should be saying is it's going to affect performance,
Yeah.
everything's
But
going to
you'll
be
start to
slow.
have devices that require, without you really being present, you are not really interacting with them. You just need
Within the home and neighborhood, Paul, maybe?
In the home.
Yeah, and then, is that, so what was he saying up above?
More bandwidth. We could say more
Yeah, I think-
strain is put on the bandwidth, or we could say more bandwidth is required for these.
Well, you only have so much bandwidth. You can't
Right.
supply without. There's a fixed supply of bandwidth to neighborhoods.
Right.
So,
Which,
I don't know. Maybe we can just somehow scrap it. The number of devices actually connection is growing. As well.
grows more bandwidth.
Making bandwidth to all.
How about something like making more competition for existing bandwidth or something like that?
Yeah, that's actually. Yeah,
Yep.
you could say making the current supply of bandwidth to all homes more in demand or more. Yeah, but yeah, I think what Tom is getting at is.
Yeah, I've seen that, I think that's the way we should work.
More devices vying for a limited pool of bandwidth is sort of what you're trying to encapsulate in that statement, I think.
I like the way you just put
Yes.
that. More devices vying for.
A limited pool of bandwidth.
Constrained bandwidth or limited bandwidth.
Let's keep it simple.
Or just finite bandwidth.
Yep.
Computing. Number of grows more. So how are we gonna?
There is more
I think
competition, within the home and neighborhood grows, there is more competition for the limited bandwidth, or whatever we say.
Finite bandwidth. I like finite actually.
Yeah, for the finite, exactly. That's what I was saying. I wasn't sure what the adjective was for the finite bandwidth. Yep, bingo.
Great.
That works. That says it a lot more clearly than the sentence above. Yeah. Okay.
Great. Glad I put up the small typo.
There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, by chapter 10, people's eyes are going to be glazing over, so we want to go for that.
It grows. It creates more. Should we say it creates more because we're saying as it grows? Or is just give it there is more?
I think there is more competition for the finite bandwidth available. That's an actually common thought that's used, when people are talking about the industry. So especially with the exponential growth this year and people using it.
I get what you're saying, Paul. Creates more competition, or just stating there is.
Right.
I mean, it does. It is a situation where it creates, like the more devices creates more competition.
Was it competition or just?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like there's actually like a bidding war or anything going on. There's just a lot of people trying to.
It creates more demand, or
Yeah. We could say it creates
More demand. For
demand.
the finite bandwidth available. There you go. More demand.
I mean, it's a scarcity.
Or more competition. Either word works. Yep, for the finite
In a
bandwidth.
sense, it is a
available.
competition because if my kid gets on before I do, suddenly he's streaming something. I don't know the algorithms, how they prioritize which devices within a network get
Well,
faster, but it feels like mine, yeah. Anyway, it feels like this stuff, like it is a competition, but it doesn't matter.
okay. I think that makes a lot more sense.
That reads a lot cleaner. It really does. So, all right.
Okay.
I guess not to, if we're trying to remove dashes in 10.1, Jason has a similar dash with the assistance of the city Chamber of Commerce dash. Like, do we want to make that
Do we need
commas
this?
or just to be consistent with other sections?
Do we need that sentence? I mean, we had discussed that. That was a
Right.
separate survey because we did not get the feedback from the business community that we wanted.
Oh, no, I understand what you're
Oh, no, not
saying,
you.
but,
I'm responding to Paul's. Paul was saying, do we even need this?
I think.
I mean, I think it explains it, but,
Right.
I'm always torn between putting something like that between commas or making it parenthetical, which I know is
Right.
not super grammatical, but I
Yeah, I
fall to
just
it.
think we need to be consistent about the delineators.
I did,
Mixing and
actually,
matching.
I'm glad you mentioned this because I did have a thought about this line. We did not receive a large number of responses. I might suggest we change to we received comparatively very few responses. Or comparatively few responses from.
I would just say we
I leave it the way it is. I think we did not receive a large number of
Fewer
responses.
responses from businesses.
Yeah,
If that was,
I think it's
so many
fine
people
as it
talking at
is.
once.
I agree with Tom. I think it's fine the way it is.
Okay, I'm just getting in the weeds. So,
All right.
all right. Scrolling down further.
I'm fighting the urge to edit quotes because that's how they were submitted.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the quotes.
Yeah, I kept doing that.
A lot of squiggly lines in the quotes.
Yeah. Well, I thought they were good quotes.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
Could you, above in the paragraph that starts at the time this report was being written, I think we could just say at the time this report was written.
I agree. This report was written. It was
That reads
reported.
better. Yeah.
Oh, at the time this report was, it was, yeah, I don't like the repetition of reported.
Yeah.
It had been
You just say
announced.
It
Comcast
was announced.
had begun.
Comcast announced.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was announced or Comcast announced.
You know, Paul's right. We could just say Comcast had begun.
Because they have.
Because that got everybody's attention. I know I sent out a couple of messages that morning as soon as I saw that, so people will know what we're talking about.
There's two spaces after the period after family budgets. Could you just make that one? Sorry.
Is COVID-19, should that be COVID? Should we have an eye on it?
Yes.
Well, you haven't heard of the COVID-19?
Yeah, this is a new variant, yes. No I. There is no I in team. Wrong.
There's no we either.
All right.
On that, the paragraph with the COVID-19, down in this middle sentence where it says business operations along with remote working.
Business operation.
Yeah. I don't think we need a comma here.
Right.
Okay. These next three quotes spoke to my old geezer heart. I'll tell you how long they.
Yeah.
I can't afford this.
Yeah.
Casual home user.
This one kills. They expect people to have internet access and a printer.
That one cracked me up. You got to write it out in longhand. This is terrible.
Yeah. Okay. So, section 10. Any other notes for this one?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's go down to 11.
The bennies.
So in 11, the first sentence had been edited a little bit to say, it is the belief of the committee that better internet access for Easthampton's residents provides benefits in many ways. And in my initial draft, what I had said is there's the benefit of, it's the blah, blah, blah. Better internet access for Easthampton's residents is a benefit in and of itself. I kind of would advocate for us keeping that there because I think that it makes an important point, which is that just providing this service better is itself a good. And anything else in here about economic development or whatever, like those things are cool too. But even if not a single job came to Easthampton as a result of this, even if this thing made only exactly enough money to pay for itself, it would still be a good thing to do because it's just people deserve better service.
Yes.
Okay. That better access. So
then,
basically we're changing. I didn't like the part first and foremost. I thought it was a little awkward.
It's fine to cut the first and foremost.
But basically we're changing instead of, well, we'll go in and of itself is a benefit in and of itself. Instead of provides benefits in many ways. Okay. So we would say it's a pretty inarguable statement. Anything better is a benefit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I just think that when you start talking to city people about this stuff, it's easy to get lost in the weeds of like the sort of things that public policy people are trained to care about and to prioritize. And I think it's just important that we say on the message that just like, this is a good thing because it's good for people. Like if that might sound simplistic, but I just think
in light of 2020 and the pandemic, it definitely resonates, you know?
Right. But even if we're not in a band, I mean, just like if people like don't have to wait to download that movie they want to watch, like that's a good thing because they want to watch that movie right now. Like, why shouldn't they be able to if we can provide that service?
This kind of speaks a little more strongly. I agree with Tom on this. I like this opening sentence more than it's a benefit in many ways or whatever.
Yeah. There's the other thing too. We also use this in and of itself right here.
Okay, so why don't we cut that and just say that just cut that second and say this is a positive thing.
If the city can supply faster, more reliable internet to residents, then
on that sentence, it says residents as a reasonable price. It should be at a reasonable price.
Yeah, I just got that one.
And also in this sentence and then the first sentence of the next paragraph, we're using lowercase city, but we're definitely referring to Easthampton, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
True.
And right up there, if the city can supply faster, fourth line. Yep. You got it.
Okay.
One suggestion I would have on the first sentence is maybe replace, either make it better internet service or do like faster, more reliable internet access for Easthampton's residents. I know because we don't really know what better is in terms of internet access. I mean,
so replace access with service.
Yeah, I like the word service.
Service or faster,
I like the service.
Reliable internet access. Even though
I think service is better because at this point we've used faster and more reliable in a few places, so I think we know what we're talking about. Better is good enough.
In this sentence here, we say if the city can supply faster, more reliable internet to residents at a reasonable price.
Yeah, right.
Can we say
right down.
Can we say this will improve their lives?
Let's not get carried away.
Yeah, that's a little.
This is a positive thing. It just-
At most, we could say may improve.
This is a good thing. Yeah. All right.
all right, we'll just keep on this.
That's right. Lawyers will be on our ass.
Yeah. Specifically, how would the life be improved? Yeah. Okay.
It will
Yep.
make you more attractive and
Less bald.
Yeah, right.
more money.
I don't believe that one, Paul.
Yeah.
It's in a report. Well, it's true. It's got to be true. All right.
We need some of those iPhone filters. You know, that's...
Okay. Word keeps hating us using in order. They keep wanting to, but I think this made sense here. I don't know what you guys folks think.
Media have developed which rely on fast and so. Well, you could just say to function. It's a general rule these days that people aren't using that in order. They just say internet connections to function.
Yeah. That's what Word thinks also.
That's what I'm saying. I think in general, most grammarians think that you always say, you know, internet connections to function rather than put that in order. It's kind of gilding the lily or whatever, but I did a lot of technical writing and people were complaining about that 20, 30 years ago.
All right, well then.
You guys are all in agreement? All right.
I mean, I'm not totally opposed to it, but there is a reason why Word is objecting to it here. So I'll go with the majority, but I would get rid of in order.
I think it's just because connections and function, connections to function, connections in order.
You know what?
And
I actually agree because when you're talking about connections to something,
Yeah,
like
that could be confusing. Yeah,
could be-
that's a
yeah.
good point. So yeah, let's just leave it in here, but I know that's what Word is referring to.
Okay.
All right.
Word also believes decision-making right here should be hyphenated. It previously was not.
Should be.
the decision-making process,
Yeah.
yes, that should be.
Yeah, because it's a term. You know, it's not two words. Decision-making is a noun.
Okay.
That's good. Well, the first priority, yeah, I'm getting a lot of underlines. Yeah,
Wait, stop
that's
there.
fine.
Third sentence down on the screen. A greater deal of control.
Yeah, there it is.
Where
A
you're
great,
at.
here he's right on, the third sentence in the second paragraph. Go up, Paul, right there. A great deal of interest.
No, right above it. Greater deal
A
of
greater,
Oh.
okay,
It
yes.
would afford the
Yeah.
terms a greater
That should just
deal of
have that say greater control. Greater deal of control.
Greater level of control.
Yeah, greater level of control. That makes
A
sense.
better level or a greater level, either one. Yeah. A great deal of interest has been that. Yeah, okay, that's okay. Yep.
Mhm.
That's all right.
Cross down one hyphen. The LOTs which were at all stated.
Okay, so there may be other benefits. That doesn't. The last paragraph, that first sentence, there may be other benefits specific to different implementation plans relative to other options. I don't quite understand. What? There should at least be a comma there, but what are we talking about relative to other? There may be other benefits specific to.
I mean, I know what the intention of the
What-
sentence is to say
Okay.
that different plans will have benefits compared to each other or relative to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the second sentence sort of clarifies.
It's relative, yeah, to other options. Okay, it's kind of a tongue twister. I wasn't.
So we can say like different implementation plans,
Relative
May
to each
have-
other, so
certain benefits relative, to each other.
yeah,
You could
relative
even
to each
say
other. I
something
think.
like different implementation plans may have their own specific benefits.
Yes, yes.
And I'm fine with that too. It's
Yeah,
even
that's-
shorter,
that's
more to the
easier.
point. Different implementation plans. Yep, they have their own specific benefits. Yep, very good, Tom.
So we want to say benefits or drawbacks?
Well, the drawbacks are in the next chapter.
Right,
Okay.
okay, yeah, there we go. Yep, we always save the bad news for last.
Okay,
This is good.
all right.
All right,
Anything else for section 11?
nope,
Nope.
I like it.
Okay.
Okay.
Risks.
I have a couple things here. So in my initial language, there was a admittedly long-winded and confusing sentence that, Paul, you cut down, and I think it did deserve to get cut down, but I think a maybe important thing got lost in the process.
A baby with the bathwater.
What it says now is, this is towards the end of the first paragraph. If at that point a competing technology were to enter the market, which rendered the entire fiber system obsolete, the potential liability to the city would be negligible. So, first of all, initially I said that competed against the fiber network or even rendered it obsolete.
Mhm.
It's important that we mention the possibility because, like, if you had a competing thing that competed against the network but did not render it obsolete, but did mean that the system lost a third of its revenue, that is a risk, right? Like, it doesn't have to render the system obsolete for it to be a financial liability.
Yep,
That's true. I think my thought is that because the previous sentence is saying once the bond payment is settled, the risk falls substantially. So this is then the thought was if the worst case scenario happened, after that point,
Sure.
liability would be negligible.
Yeah, I mean, and I actually have a point about that negligible thing first, but my point was just that I think that it's worth exploring the idea that it doesn't you don't have to have so okay, for example, if 5G rolled out in a way that a lot of people were using their cell phones and just not even having a modem at all, well, that wouldn't be an option for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who would still stick with fiber, but it could be that enough people switch to that actually maintaining the fiber network becomes a more arduous process. So, I'm just explaining my rationale. I'm not saying that I made that point clearly, just that I think that that's why it's important.
Maybe we could just say affecting the market share or something like that, because it would speak to both of those things, where the whole thing's obsolete or 5G comes in and takes away market share.
Should we say challenging the solvency of the fiber network?
Yeah, I mean, I was if you didn't, I just said would say if you said, entered the market that competed against the network or rendered the network obsolete. I just think that.
I think we can say that with one term now, but either way, it's all right.
So we're going to say if at that point entered the market. Use my fingers. And then what? What do you want to say here? Entered the market.
That competed against the fiber network or which rendered the entire fiber network obsolete.
Would it be better to say successfully competed? Because if it competed and was not successful, it wouldn't affect us.
Negatively affects our market share.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good, right. That negatively affected.
Our market share, because that speaks to both cases. Basically, there's competition. We, either get wiped out because we're obsolete or we just have somebody we have to deal with. So,
right. I think that that's a good point. We could do. we could take that whole, like the obsolete, that whole thing and just say entered the market that negatively affected the network's market share.
That negatively affected, our network's market share or the municipal network's market share. Maybe we want to be more specific there.
We're going to say which, for which, and I'm saying if after that point.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we're saying once the payment's settled.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Technology entered the market, which should we say absorbed substantial market share?
No, we're trying to simplify this.
Which negatively
affected. I think the thing here is to make sure we're talking about our venture here. So we should either, I don't know if R is the right word to use here. So maybe just say
the MLPs.
The MLP or the municipal networks market share. The MLPs, I think MLP is a perfect way to describe the MLP's market share. Now here, because it's possessive, we do want an apostrophe. The MLPs, we own the market. Yeah. MLPs at the end of MLP, it has to be apostrophe S. There you go. MLP's market share.
Negatively affected market share. Then the liability.
What?
Okay.
Oh yeah, then the liability to the city would be.
And you said you had a suggestion for an alternative to negligible?
I think it should say diminished, because negligible, I mean, if you had a situation where, like, let's just say, like, this were to wipe this thing out, like, okay, so we wouldn't be stuck with a huge bond, but there's still, like, if this thing was cutting checks to, like, the library and Easthampton Media and sponsoring some, like, big, I mean, like, these things could have all sorts of benefits in town that could go away if a system like this were to fall to a competitor. So I think diminished is a better word than negligible.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true.
Like, I don't think that if something like, if any of the MLPs that currently own their power infrastructure saw them get competed against by a private sector competitor, I don't think that they would just be like, oh, well, we don't have any debt on it, so it's fine.
After that point. The only thing I don't like right now is that we say point of view of the city followed substantially, and then if after that point, which I suppose is a minor quibble.
Risk involved. Once bond payment is settled, the risk involved from, the risk involved for the city falls substantially. We don't
for the city.
For the city, yeah. You don't need all this from the point of view that we're really overstating it. There you go.
We'll say the city falls substantially.
Substantially. And then I think this next thing reads too. We should try to keep these things a little short. And I think because so many different people wrote it, So this is good though.
Liability of the city, would be diminished.
Yep. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep. Cool.
Okay.
So in the next paragraph,
now here's a case where we should get rid of the in order. For the network to remain functional and competitive, we don't need the in order there. Yep. Just say, for the network to remain. There you go. Yep.
Makes sense.
When I had written this, it had said the costs and risks involved with bringing on additional employees and or equipment. And I think that risks, from the point of view of like the people who are going to be looking at it, that word risk is important, because bring people on, the odds, the chances of them, like, for example, getting hurt and you having to sort of cover that, or the risk of them doing something wrong and somebody suing the city because they did something wrong. Like, those are risks.
Could we just say the?
Go ahead.
Could we just say the overhead involved?
I would say I agree with exactly what Tom's saying, but I don't like using the word risks in a section called risks.
Especially when the previous sentence has risk twice in it.
But could you say like the cost and liability of bringing on?
Liabilities, sure.
Yeah.
Or we could just say the overhead involved with bringing on additional
Well,
employees.
overhead still sounds financial to me.
Cost,
Right.
liability.
Okay.
Would we just say cost singular, the cost and liability involved with bringing on?
Yes.
Yeah, we should be consistent there with, singular, plural.
I feel like those should both
That's
be
fine.
plural.
Because they're,
Liabilities?
Yeah, because there's many of them.
it's not a singular liability.
I'm all right with it being plural, but we just need to be consistent. Yep.
Cost, bringing on.
No, the costs and liabilities involved.
It's true, there are many of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then this sentence ends with will remain constant, but I don't feel like those things, in particular the liabilities, but also the costs, remain constant at all. Like, for example, the cost of providing health care to municipal workers increases far faster than the municipal budget. So I had put continue, but that sounds stupid. So I'm like open to other suggestions. How about this? What if you took that will remain constant out and said the city will face the same costs and liabilities associated with bringing
With any municipal worker.
with bringing on any additional employees and or equipment.
Same cost and liabilities involved with bringing on additional employees and or equipment.
Right. and
How
get
about
rid of
bringing on any additional? Like this isn't unique. Like healthcare is healthcare. We got to do that for everyone, but we got to do it here too.
Should we say typically involved? The city will face the same costs and liabilities typically involved with bringing on additional employees and or equipment? Or is it just,
I think involved is okay.
okay.
Bringing on additional employees or equipment. I don't think do we need the and or to bring on additional employees or equipment? I don't think we need the and slash. Yeah, just employees or equipment. Point. Systems on insurance. Okay. Yep. Good.
Was there another point you had about that sentence, Tom?
What's that?
Did you have another point about that sentence?
Only that in the previous sentence, city is lowercase, and I should have capitalized that.
And I think that just got done. Yep. They're all capped. Oh, that one. I'm sorry. Bingo.
I think that's just going to have to be a global find and evaluate as you go through the formatting. We haven't been consistent in catching them.
No.
Yeah, my only edit is in the third paragraph in the middle, I guess fifth line down, resources could help too is strike through. Should just be could help develop fiber network.
Yeah, it's got a strike through. Yeah.
What's just happening? Man, my eyes really started to bleed after a while reading this stuff.
I got one more page. Power through.
No, I'm doing fine now. I'm just saying I can't believe how many of these we missed, but.
Why don't we just capitalize everything? That might be easier to read.
Yeah, all caps report.
Like German.
Pay attention to this.
Every noun is capitalized.
Okay, so are we good with section 12? Any
I
other?
think so. Yeah. Good edits.
The smallest section.
All right, so
Conclusions.
I've got nothing here. These look good to me.
Nope, I don't either. All look good.
yeah, I went up and or maybe it was here.
We got some dashes, but
Yeah. All right. This third one in recommendations, where you are on the last page. Commission a detailed engineering and design study, including a full utility pole survey and the creation of a business plan. That doesn't read. I think what you're trying to say is commission a detailed engineering study and commission the creation of a business plan, but I just tripped all over the syntax there.
Yeah, what if we, instead of add the creation of, what if we just said as well as?
Bingo, there you go, as well as a business plan. Yep, very good, Tom. Thank you for.
Why not make it a separate bullet item?
Yeah, I was almost just going to suggest that.
And that would work fine too, because it makes us look like we're thinking harder and have more recommendations.
Because the people who do the engineering study might not be the ones that develop the
Right.
business plan.
That's a really good point. Yep. So get rid of that, and then get rid of that. Yeah. And that
Do we achieve a successful fiber network,
commission.
or do you?
Okay. And then with this guy here, how do we do that in the creation? So create a business plan to achieve create a business plan. Create a business plan to achieve the.
Okay.
I think successful is implied, right? To create, I would say, to create a municipal fiber network.
Yeah.
Create a municipal. There you go.
I would just get rid of successful.
And dump
you
this.
create a business plan for a
That's right.
launch of a fiber
I
network.
mean, we don't want to be mediocre and we don't want to be an abject failure. So, there's only one path here.
What if instead of successful, we said sustainable to make it clear that, like,
exquisite definitely isn't the word. I like sustainable. That's a good
Municipal
good
fiber
word.
network for 4 seasons.
Let's stay with sustainable. I like sustainable. I think that's a good word to use here. So put that a sustainable municipal fiber network. Because that's thinking long term.
Did it reach every home and business in the city?
So
Reaching every home?
I have one.
We're selling it.
Like might be splitting a hair, but we're creating actually a business plan to create a business plan to achieve a sustainable. You're creating a business plan to create
to implement.
To map or implement. Implement's a good word too.
Yeah.
There you go. Very good, Tom.
Should we say for the purpose of implementing a sustainable?
Again, we're gilding it. This reads.
Okay, this is good. This reads.
Yeah, and these are recommendations. This is almost like bullet items. We don't want to be handing them paragraphs here.
all right.
I think we're there, folks.
I guess my only question is the readability between commission a detailed engineering study and then create a business plan. Who are we asking to create the plan?
Right. Well, this was my original point when I was saying I didn't think those two ideas went together, create.
Well, I'm just saying, commissioning seems like you're requesting.
Commission the creation, of a business plan. We could do that. I'd be fine with that. Although, maybe we don't want to use that word twice.
We can use the same word twice. I mean, if we're doing the same thing.
Then commission the creation, commission a business plan to implement. Yeah, maybe that's just it. Commission a business now.
Right, because let's be real, no one in the city is doing that.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. It sounded like we were instructing either the mayor or the city council.
Then that's fine too. This works good for me, and I like separating them, so that's good. And Stan, I think in one of the last couple meetings you mentioned the grant opportunities and making that an appendix. Are we going to try to do that, or are we just going to let the city chase this down?
Honestly, I know the question was to Stan, but I feel like with the new administration coming in, there's gonna be so much change that it's who even knows?
Right.
Okay. There are in all of the Green New Deal plans that are currently on the table, paragraphs about broadband creation.
Right. I actually did remember in the first meeting I looked into, grants and stuff like that. That was my first task, I remember. And that was 3 years ago. And you won't believe how much it's changed since then. So Tom's point about, being current with that, it's probably best to leave it to the city.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm looking down here at this. I'm thinking we should capitalize the committee. as we do in some places, or not? I just want to have consistency.
I think we should probably capitalize, and the first thing, the telecom committee or whatever our official name is, and then after that, just refer to us as the committee, capitalized. Yep.
Now, some places we do capital the committee. Is that?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay.
Now you're starting to sound like the mafia.
Yeah, that starts to sound like biblical.
The Donald. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to find and replace these guys.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But this is good. This is a nice looking report now. A lot of good data here and presented well.
Yeah.
See, something good came out of 2020 after all. See?
In all the places where we say the committee, would it flow better if we said this committee?
Usually when I see these things in reports, it would say the committee.
Okay.
That's how to do like the find and replace in Word.
Okay.
We're gonna change every "the" in the entire report to this.
You can do one at a time. Keep going.
Take a vote on each one. All right. Okay.
Bureaucracy at its finest. All right. As we go, I'm just plugging away here.
Yep.
Well, Paul, do you see up on that ribbon the little thing button that says?
Yeah, I see the find and replace.
Yeah.
It's just
That's the way I don't miss these things when I have to make global edits.
Yeah.
yeah. I'll go through and do that after we get off this.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So, any other points for section 13?
I had one. I don't know if we're going to do this again, but when Dan did the first reformatting, he did the title page with all of our names. And I don't know if we're going to do that for the final format, but should we mention Greg Howe here? I'm just wondering. He did a lot of the early work for the committee, and even though he's not a part of us now, I think he does deserve some accreditation, but I don't know how the rest of the people feel.
I would agree with that.
I like that.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind putting a little acknowledgement section.
Yeah. I just think it would be
The
good to
committee
throw
would
that
like to
his way.
thank.
He's
and
pretty
the members,
excited
yeah.
about this thing happening, so I think it'd be good to throw the bone to him. All right.
Well, should we somewhere list all previous members?
Yeah, we also had,
Dan and
was
Bill
it Doris? Huh?
And
I think we should list present members and contributing
Raymond.
members.
Yeah, I think so, the early one. So, Harry's still in there, but then was it Doris? Who am I thinking of? The woman who was with Rayma, I'm sorry, yes. And I think it would be good to mention them. They devoted some time to this early on.
yeah,
Yep.
And Rayma had to leave because of bad news. So,
Nope, I think we should acknowledge everybody who's
Yep,
served on the
absolutely.
committee in any capacity.
So yeah, just make a note of that to include those names.
Yeah. That's a good recommendation. Thank you.
Tom, before we break up, you mentioned that Ashley is no longer there.
correct.
That's true. Yep.
Okay, has he been replaced or?
No, they're looking for somebody. The job descriptions are on the city website. They're looking for what do they call him? The system administrator, and then they're also looking for a computer tech. So the whole department is cleaned out.
Wow, because Easthampton Media is starting the refurbishment of the big meeting hall at 50
Right.
Basin next week. And he might be, he was important to, for
It
access.
was important to a lot of things. Ashley
No,
was a good
I know,
guy.
I know.
And it's, I don't want to get into, general statements here, but unfortunately, I don't think we pay enough for a lot of these positions, and people are going to do what they have to do. So,
Absolutely. I'm not questioning that he's gone. I'm just wondering how that's going to impact the work we need to do to refurbish that whole room.
I would get in touch with the mayor or somebody, in personnel, because it is going to affect you.
Yep.
In fact, the school rollout of the laptop already lagged months.
Ashley was a good guy. He knew what he was doing. It's a shame. I'm going to miss him. Yeah.
All right. Well, this may be our last official meeting. I'm not sure about that. We're not going to.
I'm going to write up the minutes here, and I'm going to send them out sometime in the next month, just so they're in the official city archives. So, but
Yeah, I don't know if the mayor will want to do a follow-up with us or the council
Right.
or anything. So there's a possibility that there might be some presentation or conversation that somebody's going to want to have, but barring
I
don't
that,
think-
we have completed our job.
Right. I don't think we disband officially, but like Tom said, we should be available for consultation, but we don't need to meet anymore unless there becomes a compelling reason for us to meet. At this point, we should be thinking about forming an MLP board,
Yeah.
and if people want to continue with this game, they can apply for that job.
So we should probably get a motion to approve this thing, huh?
Sounds like good. I move to approve.
Second.
Yep.
All right. So roll call vote. Thomas Malsbury on the
Yes.
motion to approve this report.
I do.
Okay. Jason,
I do.
Kevin,
I do.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
and Stan.
Aye.
And we lost Harry. Well, then motion is
By quorum.
approved.
Yep.
It is unanimous.
Report is approved.
Will they wait until the spring to do the parade for us?
Yeah, they're gonna-
Well, yeah, they want to wait until COVID's over because there's going to be
Yeah.
so many people packing the streets. It would-
Yeah.
Right. We'll do a giant snow sculpture, once it warms up. So people will always
We'll have a virtual parade.
Yeah. I think if they get better service and a cheaper bill than charter, people will appreciate us plenty. That'll be our thanks.
Faith is etched on Mount Tom.
Indeed. Yeah. All righty.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for all
So
that.
we have to. motion
Okay,
to adjourn?
Tom, if you can make sure that we get the final formatted report, somebody send it out to us so everybody can look at it.
Yeah.
I want to frame it and put it on my wall.
Great.
Each page individually.
That's right. I could actually make a multimedia show out of it. Yeah. All righty.
All right. So Stan
Thank you, everybody.
made a motion to adjourn.
All right.
We
I'll
need to-
second that.
All right. Again, roll call. Thomas Malsbury.
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Kevin,
See you later, alligator.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
and Stan.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Cheers.
Touch.
Bye, everyone. See you around.
Good night.
Bye-bye.